What up, YouTube? What is up, YouTube? Oh my God. From the shores of the North Coast, we're back in business. And so is college football. If you've never joined us, welcome the Authority Videocast YouTube channel to the podcasting wing of Manville Entertainment. Oh my God, it's a breath of fresh air. The clean, I would say grass, but it's all artificial turf at this point. Oh my God, college football isn't just back, ladies and gentlemen. So am I, but that's not what's important. What's important is that college football is indeed back. Now, I wasn't thinking that I would be this amped up about Week 0, especially for the 1:00 game between Nebraska and Illinois. What I just watched reaffirmed for me why the first Saturday in college football, Week 0 or Week 1, it's traditionally for me, it's been Week 1, but why Week 0 now, even Week 0 is like my opening day for Major League Baseball. And you guys, if you've been a fan of the channel, you know how much I love, absolutely how much I love MLB baseball, Major League Baseball. You know how much I love MLB, right? Well, there's just simply nothing that compares to college football. You can't quantify it. You can't put a finger on it. You can't really justify to your family or friends why it is you love college football so much. You just know when you see it. It's almost like porn. You know when you see it what it is, and it's college football. There's no explaining it. There's no right or wrong pure definition. It's just you know it when you see it. It's college football, baby. And let me start out by saying that this Illinois-Nebraska game has been absolutely absurd. Nebraska obviously is a favorite you would have to imagine on name, image, and likeness alone. I mean, it's Nebraska, for God's sakes. And yet, with a first-year head coach, obviously Brett Bielema is a Big Ten veteran. He was a coach at Wisconsin for years. And as we all know, Scott Frost hasn't gotten off to a fairy tale start, hasn't gotten off to the greatest start ever at Nebraska. But still, it's Nebraska. They've got a coach that's been there now several years, even though the program is now, as of a couple weeks ago, under investigation from the NCAA for all sorts of stuff. I don't want to get into it now. We're not here for NCAA violations. We're here for football, right? College football. And let me tell you that Illinois leads 16-9 at halftime. And maybe I haven't gotten a chance to listen. Maybe Adrian Martinez has a great podcast. He does have a podcast ever since the name, image, and likeness has went through this summer. And you got Kool-Aid McKinstry of course, he's now sponsored by Kool-Aid. You've got all sorts of stuff going on. These kids are finally getting paid, but they're getting paid in the right way. They're getting a free education. That's like a salary in itself, especially at some of these schools where, tuition's $50,000. That's not too bad. That's not too bad on top of what you're able to earn in name, image, and likeness. So hopefully Adrian Martinez's podcast is doing great, because as a college quarterback, he's had his ups and downs. I've always had faith. And in fact, I say I'm a fan of Adrian Martinez. But what the hell was that? He's been horrible this game. But you can't just blame it on Adrian Martinez. Well, in a way you can, because in all actuality, the starting quarterback for Illinois has already gone down. Peters already went down with an injury because Nebraska was looking like the black shirts of old. They were getting after the quarterback. And they've looks like they've knocked out, at least for the moment, at least for the time being, they've knocked out the starting quarterback for Illinois. So Artur wow, this is going to be a mouthful. And you guys know how much I pride myself on knowing the names of these guys, not just knowing the names, but pronouncing names correctly. Artur Sitkowski. Artur Sitkowski is now in the game, and he hasn't done much, but it's exactly what I thought would happen. A couple big plays in the running game for Illinois. They already have offensive lineman talent in place. And if anyone knows anything about Brett Bielema, it's having those big hog mollies up front and clearing the way for running back after running back. At Wisconsin, he had, it started with PJ Hill, and ever his entire time at Wisconsin, every single year, Monty Ball, I mean, you name James White, you name it, they constantly were having 1,000-yard after 1,000-yard back, and it didn't even matter who was running the ball. I mean, it didn't. It all starts with the offensive line up front for Brett Bielema, and holy crap. I mean, they've had a few big plays, but we'll see now that Illinois has the lead 16-9. We'll see if Illinois can hang on by running the football. They're controlling the clock. They're at home. The defense has played great. But here is my thing. The do everything defensive back for Nebraska. He's got shades of Chris Gamble, right? I've read in the offseason that he wants to play wide receiver. He's the returner. He doesn't want to leave the field for the Cornhuskers. He wants to be one of the biggest reasons that the Cornhuskers have a big season. And if this game continues how it is, Nebraska's starting out on 1. The do everything defensive back, he fields the punt. So this was the 4th punt of the game. The game starts with 3 punts, back and forth, punt, punt, punt. The 4th punt, oh boy. Nebraska fields it on the 1-yard line. They field a punt on the 1-yard line. That's how you know you're trying to do too much. You're pressing. You just let it roll into the end zone for a touchback. And it wasn't like a coffin corner where there was a threat of it going out of bounds at the 1. All you got to do is let the ball roll into the back of the end zone. And that's not what happened. Nebraska fields it at the 1. They run backwards into the end zone. And obviously this kid, these kids, they're in their early 20s, and they got a lot on their plate, and they're not professional athletes. I think that's why, we have to remind ourselves, you and in a grand scheme of things, you watch these players, and as a team, they're so talented, but on an individual level, they're not quite yet professionals. And this is the best player on Nebraska. And he, having realized that he screwed up and backpedals into the end zone, he then tries to throw the ball forward. It goes out of bounds, and it's an illegal forward pass, safety. The first points of the college football season were a safety as a result of a penalty. So no, Illinois actually goes up in this game 2-0. Nebraska comes back, charges right down the field, scores, misses the extra point. So while like I said, I'm a huge baseball fan, I couldn't figure it out if I was watching college football or college baseball. It was 6-2. What is this? Football? 6-2? This is America's game. This is college football. This is Cornhuskers and Fighting Illini. It's 6-2. Anyway, a really touching story about this Epstein kid, which, God, to be cursed with a name like that in today's culture, I got to feel for him just on that. But he actually, this running back for Illinois, it was hard to know how much he was going to figure into the mix. I mean, he definitely was part of their backfield last year, but he was home. This kid was home this summer, contemplating whether or not he wanted to come back up to Illinois and continue his college football career, whether at Illinois or elsewhere, or just in general. Because this kid, I'm not quite sure Lovie Smith, I'm sure he wanted to play for Lovie Smith. And when you get a new coach, Brett Bielema, and the thing was, Brett Bielema, they stayed in contact. He left the door open for him. The kid went back down home to Florida, was working on classes and decided to come back. And he's been a boon for them early in this game. Excuse me. So then I wish I had my book with me. If you haven't figured out by now, I'm blanking on the name of this Nebraska do everything defensive back. So he makes up for it. He gets an INT. He gets a huge pick, and it feels like the momentum and the momentum has just swung back and forth in this game. I mean, it's just like it's been insane. He gets a big INT to seemingly make up for his boner on the punt return, except for the fact that it was a roughing the passer call. Nebraska, who had been, they were really getting after the quarterback there early in the game. Their interception is called back by roughing the passer, which then Illinois takes, goes all the way down the field, scores. It's 9-9 because Nebraska had tacked on a field goal in the meantime, so it's 9-9. So then A minute and a half left in the first half. Illinois has the ball. They fumble. No, I'm sorry. They complete it. Stitkowski completes a very nice pass. Receiver goes to turn up field. He tries to get some extra yards after the catch. He gets rocked, fumbles. So now Nebraska has the ball with right around a minute left. Adrian Martinez, sack, fumble, scoop and score with 30 seconds left, all within a minute. Illinois fumbles the Nebraska. Nebraska fumbles it right back, and Illinois takes a 16-9 lead into the locker rooms. So as we sit here right now, looks like the teams are starting to retake the field. I can't be certain. Yeah, I don't think this. I think the halftime is wrapping up as we speak. I obviously want to get back to the game. This is really, you guys. If you guys aren't watching this Illinois-Nebraska game, what are you doing? Well, there can only be one excuse, and it's that you're pre-gaming for Hawaii and UCLA at 3:30. But we're in Big Ten country. Let's not kid ourselves. We're in Big Ten country, and people can talk on Twitter all they want about, oh, dude, it's week 0. It's not week 1. Like if you're that hurt, dude, it's not even really technically the start of college football. That's Thursday, and then the ensuing Saturday. This is just a little taste. They're just giving us a little taste. All right, they're just giving us a little taste, and by God, what a taste they are giving us. Holy crap. That was an incredibly entertaining back and forth first half. And again, like I said, who would have thought that the first points of the college football season were the result of a penalty, which led to a safety. Now, and honestly, you guys, there's only 5 FBS games. Actually, I think there's 4 FBS versus FBS games today. Hawaii and UCLA at 3:30. You're going to get, for your mind-numbing Southwest football game of the week, you got UTEP visiting New Mexico State. That will surely be a barn burner. And UConn at Fresno State right now, which I don't know. I saw Fresno State was up 7-0. They are huge favorites. UConn didn't even play last year, and although Randy Edsall is doing his best since returning, Randy Edsall is doing his best to rebuild that program. They're starting from scratch, and they didn't even play last year. They're one of 2 or 3 teams that not play a single game throughout the entirety fall or spring of the 2021 season. It's going to be a long, winding road for Connecticut Husky fans, which, first off, you have basketball, so you can't be that upset. But as a Bowling Green Falcons fan, I feel your pain. Hang in there, Connecticut Husky fans. Just hang in there. You're going to be taking your lumps. But at least it's fun for Connecticut that they're an independent and they kind of have some autonomy over their schedule. Whereas for Bowling Green, not that the MAC is the Big Ten, but the MAC is a very formidable conference, and for every Akron, there's when they're good, Northern Illinois, Buffalo, Toledo. There's some real killers. Ball State's back, so the East. I almost started with Eastern. The one team that traditionally isn't good. Western and Central Michigan are traditionally very strong. So it's Bowling Green is in for a long season as well. The game I really want, before I go, the game I really, really stress you guys, go out of your way, and you're gonna look at me funny, but just know that I spent a lot of time dissecting these teams. I did a lot of work with the SWAC and the MEAC of the FCS level, which are the 2 HBCU conferences, the historically black college and university conferences in college football. They operate at the FCS level, but don't think for a second that they don't play some very, very high quality football. You have the OG Air McNair, Fred McNair. See, Alcorn is another team. Alcorn actually pulled out of their scheduled slate of games so late that the SWAC, being as petty as I guess they were feeling, they gave, instead of them being canceled, because the schedule is already set. Alcorn lost every single game last year 2-0 because of forfeit. Well, Alcorn football is back. They are going to be loaded, and it starts, of course, with their stud of a quarterback, Felix Triggerman Harper. Felix Triggerman Harper currently sits number 3 in my top HBCU quarterback power rankings. Not far behind him, though, is Davius Richard of NC Central. You're going to get a top 5 HBCU quarterback power ranking matchup between Felix Triggerman Harper and Davius Richard. I'm so sorry, Mr. Richard, if I'm pronouncing either your first or your last name wrong. But as far as I'm concerned, Davius Richard, NC Central. Trey Oliver's the head coach there. He's been doing some good things. He's been rebuilding the program, and God, more than practically any other game today, I am all in. I've pushed the chips to the middle of the table. I am all in. Give me the MEAC SWAC challenge, because I think for those not in the know, this is a big test for both teams, especially because Alcorn didn't play last year. But this is a big test for the MEAC. The MEAC has, they've had trouble, with teams coming and going from their conference. They lost Florida A&M. They've lost some teams, some good teams, but it's not to say that this isn't a good conference. And in fact, it's one of the most intriguing conferences on either the FBS or the FCS level, because, and this is what makes it so interesting, if the college football playoff expands, you're going to lose that every week in, week out. Every game matters. Every game feels like a playoff game. You get that with the MEAC because there's only 6 teams. There's not a championship game. The SWAC plays a championship game. The MEAC will not play a championship game. It's simply it's almost like a tournament of death. You have to play, the end of this. These teams are going to have pretty large non-conference schedules, but then at the end of each non-conference schedule starts their 5 games within conference, and it's whoever's left standing at the end of those 5 games. Whoever's left standing at the end of those 5 games will be your MEAC champion and will be the representative at the end of the year in the Celebration Bowl. The Celebration Bowl is obviously the game where your MEAC champion and your SWAC champion meet up. They get a little bit of that money. They get a nice payout. They say, what is it? Because this is how it is. They get disrespected. There's just no other way to put it. I mean, you've got some really good teams in these conferences, and then they just get thrown to the North Dakota States of the world in the round 1 of the FCS playoffs, and it doesn't do it for them. It costs them money. Now they can go to the Celebration Bowl, literally a celebration of HBCU football, and they make a good payout from those games, and it's the Super Bowl of HBCU. So it all starts today with the challenge, the SWAC MEAC challenge, Alcorn State and NC Central. I honestly, I'm brimming. I could explode. I'm so ready to go. I'm not ready to go hit somebody. I don't want to give you the wrong impression. Like, I'm ready to go hit somebody, but I am ready to sit my ever white butt on the couch and watch what should be an awesome game, you guys. Awesome game. I mean, it's going to be the best game played today, I think. And really, Davius Richard, he's a young quarterback. He showed some really good things last year. I think he threw for over 2,000 yards. He showed some. He has a potential to be very good. But this game is all about the reintroduction of Felix Triggerman Harper. I can't stress it enough. He was the SWAC. He was a SWAC Offensive Player of the Year, I believe, if not the Player of the Year. I think he was a SWAC Offensive Player of the Year in 2019. Didn't get a chance to play in 2020. And no, his favorite quarterback growing up was not Michael Vick, SWAC Media Day guy. His favorite quarterback growing up is Tom Brady, which leads you to believe one thing. What does he want to do? He wants to win. So I'm ecstatic. It's funny because we've been talking a lot at work about, these FBS games, but it's funny. We worked on the FCS as well. And then no one seems to remember to mention to me that it's a SWAC MEAC challenge today. So, I mean, maybe it was on me because I was the one that was specifically, I tasked myself with doing all of those teams and really taking deep dives on them. Um, Again, just for reference, we want to run down the top HBCU quarterbacks list real quick. Akil Glass, Alabama A&M is one. Jawan Carter from Norfolk State is two. And Toledo, watch out. If Toledo thinks that they can just show up and just run through the motions and that they're just gonna, hand Norfolk State they're behind, they're sadly mistaken. Jawan Carter can hurt you through the air. Like, he will hurt you. So watch out, Toledo. Felix Triggerman Harper, number 3. Skylar Perry from Arkansas Pine Bluff at number 4. Davius Richard at number 5 from NC Central. Rashawn McKay, Florida A&M, number 6. Ladarius Skelton from Southern is number 7. Shedeur Sanders hasn't played a game yet, but you got to include him. I think he's the most highly touted recruit to ever land at Jackson State, or certainly one of them. Coach Sanders' kid. So Shedeur Sanders at number 8, and a couple honorable mentions: John Lampley from Southern and Jalen Brown from Texas Southern. So, this is gonna be. This is gonna be a great season. It's gonna be a great season all around, and especially for the HBCUs, I think they're gonna have an awesome season. And college football is back, y'all. Let's play some basketball. Wait, no. Let's play some football. Yeah, there you go, Fergie. Let's play some football. So you guys make sure you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for letting me rant and rave about the HBCUs, but also for, sharing with you what happened there in the first half of the Illinois-Nebraska game. Let's see. One last score check. Creak this neck back. It's commercial. All right. But yeah, you guys have a great rest of your Saturday. I love each and every one of you with all of my heart. And who knows? Maybe I should go there. The long-awaited return, where have you been? I've been dealing with a lot. And, it's not just the work thing and, moving into a new place. I actually, I went through a lot there for a second, and we'll call it a mental injury. And I only feel so confident sharing that with you guys because I have no other choice. That's just I gotta face reality, and I'm so happy to be back. I'm so happy to be feeling, almost entirely myself again. But there's no doubt. You guys saw it. For those of you that saw the video of me, packing up and leaving my home, it was incredibly emotional. And I guess after that day, I sort of just packed it all in, and we had a little bit of a meltdown there. Okay, but you know what? We're all better for it. We're gonna be better for it. We're gonna be better people for it, and we can only go up from here. So, like I said, thank you so much. I love you guys. Not quite sure when we'll get back to any sort of schedule or any sort of, expectations. I'm going to set the expectations for this thing just incredibly low. And that way, when I do come through for you guys and put out some content and put out some stuff, you'll be that much more appreciative of it. The same way I am. I'm so appreciative to even just be sitting here with you guys and, sharing my thoughts and communicating and just feeling pretty damn good. So, alrighty. Love you guys so much. And we'll catch you on the next one. All right.